The fact that there's so much talk about returns is actually kind of getting worrisome. We're going to talk about it all in today's video. As always, we got timestamps down below. But first, we got to talk about the IWGP Women's Championship. Guys, we knew it was coming. We know they have plans for this championship belt. Now, a new report from Tokyo Sports has actually given us a sneak peek at the design for the first IWGP Women's Championship. Now, obviously, New Japan has some pretty big plans with Stardom and, of course, the Royal Quest event in the UK. But now, this is going to be the IWGP Women's Championship. We don't have the final design just yet, but we know that they are going to be doing this. And they have qualifying matches and everything, and there's quarterfinals, there's a tournament, there's a lot of things that they're doing for the historic X Over Supercard, which is taking place in November. So obviously the IWGP Women's Championship, clearly important to the company now, something that a lot of people have been asking for a very long time, something that NJPW has been extremely behind on in general. But I just want to leave you guys with this. The belt looks great, okay? But what is it going to be? How is this going to be different than AEW and WWE's women's division? And that is something that I'm curious to see how they progress, because it's not like New Japan actually has their own women's roster. A lot of this is done because of the fact that they're going to have Stardom in the mix. There's also a belief that talent from Impact and AEW could also be involved in this tournament. So that's like a really cool thing. I'm glad that they're incorporating international talent, but I don't know exactly what the long-term plan is. So I look forward to seeing how this differs from everybody else. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I want to talk to you guys about an NXT call-up. Really, I feel like I just have to praise WWE here. Legado del Fantasma is going to the main roster. However, there's something that I've noticed about WWE, and because of the logic and storytelling and the compelling continuity that is coming from WWE's creative these days, this is one that truly excites me. Now, 2 weeks ago at Heatwave, Santos Escobar lost a match against Tony D'Angelo. He was supposed to be removed from NXT. Last night on NXT 2.0, August 23rd, 2022, Santos Escobar came back to NXT and picked up his crew in a nice SUV, and they headed the hell out of the Performance Center for the final time. Now, the idea here is that Santos Escobar was supposed to go to the main roster without Legado del Fantasma. This was the rumors according to reports back when Vince McMahon was in charge. However, WWE's plan here is to have continuity and a seamless transition from NXT to the main roster, so therefore Legado del Fantasma is sticking together completely. Now, I actually really love this. The plan is for them to go to Smackdown. The plan is for them to stick together. And the great thing here is that WWE is going to be in a situation where every time they make these seamless transitions, NXT becomes far more valuable as a brand. I also want to point out, too, Elektra Lopez, she may have not had the most in-ring experience out of the group. But, of course, in this situation, the idea that she's going to be managing them, part of the presentation, overall package, it's a good thing. I liken to compare this to B-Fab with Hit Row, right? If she needs to throw down, if you need to put her in a match, they can do it. But the expectation is that she is going to be there to become part of the total package, total presentation. I just think this is a really smart move by WWE, moving them all up together. If I were WWE, what I would do is I would just start airing vignettes on SmackDown, introducing to the group. Those nice introductions are always a great way to get over new talent, and obviously all four of these people are going to be able to do some great stuff. I just kind of wanted to point this out because those seamless transitions are really going to be important. You guys remember that report that we talked about a couple weeks ago? WWE possibly contract tampering with AEW. Well, look no further. Chris Jericho has revealed something very incredibly interesting about this. So Hap the Cat on Twitter says, I needed Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Chris Jericho faction. Make it happen, Y2J. Chris Jericho responds, well, some higher-ups want that to happen sooner than later. Hashtag tampering. Now, look, I love Chris Jericho. I haven't been too crazy about his work in AEW, but that is just mainly for the fact that he came in as a very serious character, and now it's just kind of become a parody. I loved when Chris Jericho was world champion for AEW. Obviously, things change as time goes on and whatnot. The idea of Chris Jericho, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens to me would be truly entertaining. It would be fun. Especially right now. I really do enjoy the story that they're telling with Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia in AEW. But I want to point something out, and this is going to be a common trend. I'm not trying to harp on WWE here, but with all of these NXT call-ups and all of these former returns, how many is too many? How many returns is too many returns? Because WWE, we have seen before, historically speaking, NXT 2020, 2021, the roster was bloated. The roster was crowded. And honestly, when I turn on AEW and I see that they have the same issue, I don't want WWE to go back into that same problem. But now this becomes a problem because Chris Jericho coming back to WWE, he's an older guy, man. He's a veteran. And I don't really want him to have a final run that is like taking up TV time from all of this potential growth for other people. You got Theory, Gargano, Karrion Kross. There's so much more that could be done. I don't think it's necessary to bring back Chris Jericho. And truth be told, now there's talks of Bronson Reed coming back to WWE. So this idea that Bronson Reed could be coming back to WWE, he's just another name that's a possible return. I don't think it makes sense for WWE to just keep loading up talent. Dexter Lumis, Hit Row, Karrion Kross, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Johnny Gargano. Like, there's a lot of things happening right now. Andrew Zarian reported that he heard Jonah, formerly known as Bronson Reed in WWE, is a name that has been brought up about the company bringing back. Obviously, Jonah is working the G1 Climax. He's been working in Impact. He's been working all over the indies. He has been staying busy post WWE. He's actually been very, very, very interesting to look at in terms of the overall career post WWE. He's done some interviews. He's talked about WWE. He was not really for the change of NXT 2.0. And I get that. I understand that it wasn't for everybody. However, this is where things get tough. I do think Bronson Reed would be really successful on WWE's main roster. A big man who is overly athletic. He's very good at what he does. And he's been doing fantastic post WWE. When he was in NXT, he was doing great things. When he came to WWE's main roster, that never happened. So the fact that he's never been to the main roster and now there's that opportunity, I do want to see what Triple H can do with him. A big man who is athletic, somebody who can actually wrestle. It's not too common to see that these days in WWE. I mean, look at Omos, for example. I love the guy, I love the character, but he's just not the greatest in-ring worker. So I like the idea of bringing in Bronson Reed, but my question I pose to you guys is it too many returns at this point? It is a concern for me. We'll see how WWE shapes up the roster. There's not too many more returns that they can do because SmackDown is still a little bit light on the roster compared to Raw, but it is very intriguing to me.